Oh, hello. Hello. This is a philosophical review of Piper at the Gates of Dawn. We can start now. As decades go by, people still have doubts whether Piper at the Gates of Dawn is a conceptual album, or they merely do not care, preferring individual songs. Of course, these songs can be listened and enjoyed in both ways. But it is my suggestion that Syd Barrett, being the primal writer of the album, was not merely a childlike, drug addict, Asperger type of person, without any desire to communicate ideas and intellectuality through art. Being on top of his creative powers, he surely organized art, in brackets image and sound, for it to shine a certain and distinctive luminosity, shaping the album for it to be a self-consistent creature with a story, with past, present and future, with a meaning behind projection. I can assure you that The Piper, by its nature, is first of all a conceptual album, but unlike other LPs, this album is concentrated more on the unconscious, internal, or the first-person perspective and experience. Therefore, the album is a true description of you being on a journey towards maybe liberation, but liberation from what, how, and exactly in what way? This I will try to disclose to you as clearly as I can in this review of The Piper at the Gates of Dawn, first and only shot of Syd Barrett to communicate his vision as how to crack the code of the world. Album's meaning is heavily between the lines, between songs, between words and sounds, between moods and topics, as all of them interflow. You can say that the album's soul is in a metaphysical realm and transcends reality, so let us use more of a philosophical approach in shaping Piper's conception. Spin the plate and let us begin. All starts off with silence, with nothing, and gradually sounds appear, words. Astronomy domine from a far distance. A signal, in brackets, comes from the opposite side of cosmos, or even from the outside of cosmos. It is sharp, and by piercing space, it travels quite surely towards reaching its desired destination, the underground. A quiet moment solo begins. Signal in the form of a greeting starts to perform a cosmic tap dance for you. The spaceship messenger vibration stabs through layers of dimension, like falling dominoes they obey, and then launches into a speed of light intergalactic jam while sounds distort colors. It got closer, whispering through your ear. The signal speaks and asks in celebration, "Who's there? Who is listening right now inside? Now it confidently starts to land into the underground. It is here. So what is this underground stands for? It stands mainly for the insides of a human head. It stands for you being trapped in the blue icy waters of your human's consciousness. Or whatever you might call it. The signal appeared with a mission and came inside to free you from the chains of dungeon you were living in for so long. Lucifer's Sam is an escape song. It is about Siamese condition, bipolarity, discomfort, frenzy, demonic ego trip, about a persona which is trapped inside a head, inside a media program, inside its own endless dialogue, bounces all around the paranoia playground, impotent to explain its condition, but he likes it. This creature. You see a crazy human you once have been. The song is about you getting out of it all. Run. Melody is like a spy thriller, a type of Big Brother pressure. Helicopter shoots on your steps. So, a type of a Big Brother pressure, a shaky, junky kind of movement. The song is both promising and sentimental, also refers to a human being's working in loops, hamster culture. drastic and circular self-cannibalism, and other cultural psyche artificialities. Right now you cannot explain, but this condition will be resolved after a while, when we'll be around in a completed state. When you're around. Following the melody as steps and lyrical narration hanged as paintings on the sides of prison walls, you escape running to the exit in a true comic style, and out of this artificial fantasy you move forward to be born out of an old headset. Congratulations, you are born into a spiritual realm. Your journey has just begun as you lay as a tiny fresh infant in your mother's hands. Matilda Mother. Only she can bear the reality of life through innuendos and show a better way to go, a way out into alive and real happenings. You do not know the truth yet, so you swallow and develop what your mother has to say. Mother is a platform for a child to launch, and if she is somewhat damaged or restrained like many are today, then a child can develop a type of wound and fall like many of them do. The role of a mother is the most viral role there is. Only she can cure society. Only she can make a child touch the wholeness of life. In our case, Matilda is not only a mother per se, rather she is more like a muse, an angel, a Virgin Mary, a world's consciousness. She prepares the child, talks to him in a fairy tale language to dissolve the fossil-like confines of the mind, in this way nurturing intelligence and a seed for future independence. In the song's lyrical case, Matilda talks about the king, which sits on his throne like a monument and showers population with silver, with distractions this means. But then 1,000 young riders high on truth become awake in the mist of a doll's king old perfume, and in confidence they start to cross the land. Fairy tales of the muse keep them high above the swamp, and soon clouds in sunlight accompany their way. And you are one of them, but still alone with your generous mother. Wanting more, full of fantasy you roam away. And now somewhere deep in nature's vortex you are flaming. Matilda made your fire burn, you daydream. Alone you lay in the clouds on flowers in forest dew. For the first time you are experiencing nature's fractal portal of possibilities, traveling on electromagnetic waves of the universe. This is a shiny wink of freedom, a graceful and playful trip, a virgin blast of consciousness and external soul. But under such shiny clothes, in some way it all developed in a segregate paradise, a place of delight and fairy dwelling, where you became a passive observer. No one can hear you or see you, and you are lazing glazed in a somewhat disguise. So from a human misery you freed yourself into everything, and have been captivated by apathetic ecstasy. You cannot see beyond it. In this sense, 21st century is an echo of the song. You know what I mean? In truth, a mirrored and real idea of this song is that the song you sing about in the song you sing about what you observe. So actually your human, which is dazed by nature's illusions, is lying in the leisure on plants or riding unicorns, completely oblivious to you. He gradually falls asleep as you observe him from the clouds above. He is a body intoxicated by soul, by an unfinished God. Well, both of you are actually stubborn, bulking before each other, divided, distant. Now you are an intoxicated soul by your body. What? You know you have to merge together. And now you scream to this idol one just before he's about to fall into a coma. He awakes and falls down gently from his high through a dandelion as you fall through the cloud. You see? Both of you unite in an airy kiss, and in the last verse once again on an eider down cloud lies a stunned god. Flaming is about evolving and about uniting relationships between body and soul. So whole humanity should now experience this nexus. A finished god now flows forward in his journey. He is flaming hard and acts as a bonfire in the next song. In Power Talk H, people get together in a flock. And this is the reality, tribal, primal, screaming orgy type of wild festivals, supposedly without any meaning. A human ceremony of dancing and chanting around the totemic flaming fire. And also this ejaculating gathering is an inverted language of a loving relationships. Mutual spiritual empathy. Humanity's experience goes mental and tortured, and then calms down to rest. Then again it trips out. But humans do everything they can by praising and gathering metaphysical forces together and are getting ready for a sacrificial ceremony of themselves, arguably shouting for an ultimate god as their doctor, which can resemble a pan-god or Piper at the gates of rebirth. Collectively, these mutual gatherers merge into a universal plant, into an antidote pill for their kind to swallow and heal. Or for the whole cosmic world to embrace. This mad song can also be paralleled with Christ crucifixion. Take up thy stethoscope and walk. Take up thy stethoscope and walk is a prologue for the transitional movement which will start soon. It is a collage song about collective humanity moving past the last traces of sick life while already feeling the effects of an upcoming crescendo, healing to be ready for an upcoming metamorphosis. This song is a Dadaist booklet on how to be ready to die, how to go through death, how to be able to rise from dead afterwards. Also, it is a middle navel of this album. It is essential in its advice to always have an alert kit with you. It says to take up thy stethoscope and walk, meaning to be able to hear the whole transition, to pass it, and to maintain a new original result. You have to hang on to the antenna, because it is and will remain the only unchanging perspective mirror, the only way to be able to hear the world's beating heart. Like in the beginning humans picked up a stick, now you should pick up your alert consciousness and its mortality, and walk through the upcoming gates. Piper will show you everything. You are alive, realize it. Now! Now! Everything that was in some shape or sound even ever produced now is taken onto an interstellar overdrive. You are pulled into this blast, launched into life's clitoris. Every association, every icon, any innuendo now completely dissolve into a chaotic yet communal and determined ocean of quantum particles on a sheet of darkness. It is a revelation, a striptease of scientific facts. Intuition. Apocalypse, psychoanalysis, resurrection. This is the most loose, transparent and direct jam you can have, so get naked. It destroys any doctrine by stripping off layers of dimensions and geometrical shaping laws, unveiling a bare and invisible core of life, and a small then giant door to exit. Whole world in its essence is boiled into a pot right in front of you as you flake off and start to go completely beyond it, while completely astonished humanoids are left immersed in experiencing intense sex. The sheer nakedness of a live creature enables you to become a master of it, and God, and a master of God, I guess, if you will. This God is now on his cosmological infinite knees in front of us. The journey gradually becomes mellower, and as a pregnant woman has her water break interstellar field increasingly prepares to bring you forth, fires a drum roll and bursts the real you out. Congratulations, exorcism finishes. You hear some step-hitting motions along an object. Someone is awake. The gnome is walking through his home early and the end of the night. It is a genuine human being shaped and evolved into a decent creature, and you are telling a story about him. You are now an independence from the world. In a calm tone, you are narrating and leading a story about a resolved life of humanity with your words. Finished humanity is in sync with Pan's vibration and with you, with us. Now they are clicking, and there always comes a pleasant day when these naturalist gnomes have a way to say, "Ooh, my, hooray." Chapter 24 resides philosophy of the movement which has taken place before. Lyrics are beautifully simple in their explaining the laws of truth. Like a prophet, they comment on a balance and its usage. Movement was in 6 stages, and interstellar overdrive brought resolution. In the lowest sunlight day, in the most depressive void, the great change for good inevitability comes. As long as you are active and move ahead. Heaven also possesses thunder, but they feed from each other. The music entrances itself and fades away straight into the morning field with fresh dew, which slowly starts to evaporate into a dance in colorful air, accompanied with ideal kaleidoscopic sounds at first steps of an absolute dawn. The sun is rising, exposing an original day, just as it was meant to be. At last reality is here. Piper gently plays on his flute as sunrise becomes higher and beats down on the ground and reveals a black and green scarecrow standing in the midst of his field. He is wired to his faith like a clock machine. He stands still with a bird on his straw and performs his purpose quite nicely, actually. Scarecrow is Piper himself, and the straw is his flute, and the bird is both a shepherd and a livestock in a single vestment. Scarecrow is a monument to a world human being, gnome, crucified on God, which is now surpassed. You get it? Humanity is crucified on a cross. Cross is God. So humanity is crucified on God, which is now surpassed. Stands and always flourishes in its motionless all. Album's idea has finalized its aim with this calmly rewarding image in front of us, and this is why you are free now. After finalizing this experiment, you gained absolute independence from the world. Now you can hop on a symbolical bike and leave it in a cosmic museum. Leave this god in a cosmic museum, blah blah blah. You understand the idea. So bike represents life. You can ride it if you like. It has everything to make it look good. It cannot be given away because it is borrowed. Or bike can be this whole album that you can ride anytime you like. A girl is also life. Or an album's listener, which is cute and listens to this last manifesto. And you will give her anything, everything, if she will want things. Cloak represents some kind of spacesuit, a body, mindset, or language, which ultimately has a tear up the front and is mortal, but is still able to look good. Mouse is a traveler with no precise home. He is old and may be a little stressed out, but he is a good mouse. Gingerbread men are just some humanoids. You can eat a couple of them for dinner anytime you like. It does not matter much. The room is a place that we experienced during the course of this album. Life. We know it. It is clockwork, simple and obedient. consists of songs. The other room to where this album urges you to go and be is a place from where this album came about in the first place, and from where it can be realized. From the beyond of life, from the beyond of the world. So you made this album, we made this album. Right from the start of this album, it is us that was experiencing and fulfilling the world and sending signals throughout its pulse to awake ourselves in the world. Additional information. The album's projection has a mirror kind of nature where its center is a sixth song, which always ensures a stable perspective walk with an all-eating stethoscope. In this way, the piper always resonates. Always. The album has a structure of 4 songs, 3 abstracts, 4 songs, where fourth is also 8th, third is also 9th, second is 10th, and the first is 11th. Flaming shows an unfinished humanity, the gnome shows a finished humanity. Matilda Mother is a fantasy, chapter 24 is the truth. Lucifer Sam is a demon, Scarecrow is a sane. Astronomy Domini is Alpha, Bike is Omega. And in this respect, the cosmic coordinating chatter in the start is duck laughter in the end. In regards to the main symbol in the story, Piper, we can confidently match him with Pan, Greek god. The name Pan translates as all, and this god is considered to be all-world, as well as its vibration throughout, a pulse of life. Pan is a god of shepherds, as a shepherd of shepherds. The dawn which Piper gave you to experience and from which he cannot escape himself, now made you into his shepherd. Now you are a shepherd of God, a shepherd of the world. Pan is the god that dies. Pan represents a tombstone of the world. The world can and must be surpassed. And so, in this sense, you have evolved from its nirvana-like samsara life. The whole album is a portrait of Pan, a portrait of the world from which you are now free and independent from, because you have experienced it all throughout listening to The Piper at the Gates of Dawn. I hope this review was interesting and useful for you, reader, listener. For this analysis to be more accurate, your insights are necessary. Enjoy and work. And be well as long as you have the guts. All best. You can write me on saharacubic@gmail.com. Thank you. Bye bye. Kisses.